Hi, welcome to the inaugural Soleda product updates, where we're going to be sending out some updates after every single sprint that we do. Soleda is a company building useful, reliable, and trustworthy virtual assistants to enable people to do their best work. And we're going to do that starting by offering people a virtual data analyst. In order to get this data analyst to work, though, we're actually building this on top of customized models using proprietary data. And a lot of that data is actually generated at scale, which is what allows us to do the work that we do so well and getting the virtual assistant to do well without depending on too many external APIs. And so today's demonstration is going to be a showcase of that data generation engine. In order to get started, we're just going to kick off part of this script. And it says that for annotation, we're going to initialize the service by asking how many labels we want to generate. For our cases, we're just going to start with 3 today. And once that happens, we're immediately going to kick off the sampling of the C data. And once it's sampled, it's going to start the annotation. Once it starts the annotation or 1 out of 3 cases, it's going to choose data for various labels. In this case, it's choosing the filter label. And that's because filtering is a very common thing that you have a data analyst do. The generated example is how many employees have a salary above 60K and work in the marketing department. That looks like a good example of something that needs filtering in order to query. In particular, the filtering is to go for salaries above 60K and filtering for the marketing department. The second one is filtering for the past year and filtering for purchases greater than 10. And this next one is about filtering for completion rates greater than 30. And these are all really great examples. And so as you can see, the amount of work that it takes to go ahead and run the actual labeling is pretty easy, because now all I have to do is decide yes or no, this is a good example or not. Notice that in addition to the example, it's actually also coming up with the specific details of each one. So what are the operations, like what type of filter is actually necessary? For our second case, we see that we can also work with things that are like more complicated queries that require filtering, grouping, and sorting. And so in this case, the generate example is, can you show me the total sales for each product category filtered by the last month and sorted in descending order? Yeah, sure, why not? Let's go ahead and grab this one as well. In this case, top 5 departments. And so this is true, but at the same time, it maybe is starting to get to the point where the keywords are a little too obvious. So maybe I might actually reject this one. So just to show that we don't always have to say yes, we can also say no. And so I'm going to go ahead and, just for argument, also say no to this one. And can you list the average response time for each customer service team filtered by the past year and sorted from fastest to slowest? Now let's look at the actual label. It says filter for past year, which is what we want. We do want to group by the customer service team, and we do want to sort by response time. So let's go ahead and say yes to that. In addition, though, part of what makes the virtual assistant that Soleda is providing useful is not only can it do your kind of text to SQL or your querying of the database, it can also have a real dialogue. So for example, maybe it's just chatting where it says, awesome, that looks great. Or do you prefer working with large or small data sets? And so this is also kind of like just a general chat question. So maybe we might say yes to this. And how do you stay motivated when working on complex projects? This is the kind of question that a user might ask that's, doesn't really relate to a query, but is still useful to capture. What do you like to do in your free time? This maybe is starting to get a little bit too far away from working, so we're going to say no to this one. And have you encountered a particularly interesting data set or analysis? Sure, maybe this is something that you might ask your analyst. And there you go. Well, just like that, we're able to add 9 new labels, and we're able to do this very easily and quickly. And this is how we're able to get a model of very high quality in a very scalable manner. Thanks.